Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. It's Julie from Living Large on Lifetime, and today I'm coming at you with another WWJD. What would Weight Watcher Julie do? That's right, and you guys are really challenging me. Thank you so much for your awesome questions, and thank you for putting yourself out there and asking the questions, because the questions that you have are probably questions that someone else has and is afraid to ask or doesn't know who to ask. So thank you to everyone who is submitting questions. I really appreciate it. Let's dive in. First of all, I want to let you know that although I am a Weight Watchers receptionist and I have been following Weight Watchers for about 2.5 years, I lost 40 pounds. My channel is in no way affiliated with or endorsed by Weight Watchers. Everything I'm telling you right now is my own opinion. So just putting that out there. So let's jump into the questions for today, you guys. First question comes from Cabanagirl87 Christy. Hi Christy, thanks so much for your question. Christy says, hi Julie, how do you move past days that you overeat or go way past your points without beating yourself up about it? One of my main goals for 2018 is to show myself more self-compassion in all aspects of my life, but especially in my weight loss journey. Thanks. So I totally agree. You have to have compassion, self-compassion on this journey, because it's pretty much a given that we're all going to mess up at one point or another. So to recognize that and accept it early on is your first step. It's all part of our process. It's all part of our journey. But definitely self-compassion is a really good skill to have, and I think a lot of us are not necessarily just born with it. So it's a skill and a tool that you have to actually cultivate and practice. So some ways that you can cultivate self-compassion, and I'm thinking specifically on what you said, days that you overeat or go way past your points. And girl, I do this all the time. All the time. Sometimes purposely, sometimes I know I'm gonna do it, sometimes with intent, and sometimes it just happens. And when I don't plan for it, those are the days I feel the worst about it. And then I have to be self-compassionate as well. So here are some ways that you can start to cultivate your own self-compassion. Number one, engage the support of a compassionate friend. We all have that really, truly understanding friend who knows what to say, who loves you no matter what, who is naturally compassionate. Seek out that friend and get some words of encouragement. Lean on them, vent to them, rant and rave to them, and take in whatever support that person has to offer you. Also, as she or he is doing that, take note of the compassionate side of them and the ways that they are treating you with compassion and love, because you'll want to do that with yourself in the long run. So number two, look at the big picture and your successes so far. Like I said, this is all part of the journey. Whatever incident you just came through, whatever binge you just had, whatever 75-point day you just had, it's all part of your journey. It's part of your journey, it's part of my journey, and it's just one thing that makes us the person that we are. It makes our journey individual to ourselves, and the important thing is how we react to those circumstances. So look at the big picture, and if you have to, list out your successes. How much weight have you lost so far? When did you turn down cheesecake? When did someone last compliment you on something? What size clothing are you in? Did you choose to exercise for 5 minutes extra the other day? So literally list out your successes and focus on those. All of this, your successes and your failures, are a big part of the whole journey. So don't just focus on where you think you've fallen. And number three, this is my biggest suggestion for cultivating self-compassion. Number three, talk to yourself as you would talk to a friend. That's why I said earlier, when you talk to that compassionate friend, listen to the way she or he talks to you, because you need that for yourself. You need to be compassionate with yourself, and you need to learn to treat and love yourself with compassion. So I am a practical person, so I need physical, practical things to do. I know that a huge part of this journey is changing our thought processes and our behavior patterns, and a lot of that is mental, but I also need real physical things to do. So when I'm saying talk to yourself as you would talk to a friend, I mean literally physically stand in front of a mirror, look yourself in the eyes, and talk to you like you would be talking to your friend who came to you with the same situation. Talk to yourself with love and compassion and forgiveness, and maybe offer yourself some ways to help overcome. Really physically look at yourself and do this. If you don't do that, then physically write down what you would say to a friend who is in the same situation. So I really feel that actually taking the physical steps to do these mental exercises is going to help solidify the self-compassion and the behavior for you, so that you can move on and give yourself the love that you deserve. So first of all, you definitely do want to cultivate self-compassion, but then the next step is don't dwell on it, move forward. Our goal is to always continue moving forward and becoming better than we were. So don't dwell on what you think may be a failure. Move forward. I always say every day is a new day, but even better than that, you can start with your next right action. And that I have a phrase that I learned in therapy, which I use often, and it is do the next right thing. Do the next right thing. If you have a binge midday, at your very next meal, do the next right thing. If you went way over on points yesterday, Tuesday, then do the next right thing on Wednesday. What is the next right thing? You wake up in the morning and you have a healthy breakfast. Or you wake up in the morning and you do your regular 6 a.m. workout. Do the next right thing. That means with the very next meal or the very next decision to move a little more. Do the next right thing. And then also another very physical, practical thing to do. I love this idea. The goal is to move forward, but what about this? What if you create a redo so that you can actually learn from your mistakes? So write down the challenge that you just had. You had a 75-point Friday night. Write it down. What were your challenges? Did you go to a football game and you were in a room with tons of chicken wings and beer? Did you go to a movie and you couldn't help and get the popcorn, the buttered popcorn with extra butter? I'm talking about myself. Write down the challenge and then write down some ways that you can handle it for next time. So, and I'm saying again, literally write this down so that these ideas and thoughts will solidify in your head. There's a lot to be said for writing something down versus typing it into your phone or typing it on the computer or sending an email. Write it down, physically write it down. Write down your challenge and then write down how you would like to handle it next time. And just write down as many ideas as you can. So Christy, I hope that answered your question. Self-compassion is huge. We all need it. A lot of people are very compassionate to others, but forget about self-compassion. So that was a great question, and I hope some of those ideas can help you move on and move forward in 2018 and love yourself. Forgive yourself. Okay, next question comes from WW Texas Angel. I have a question for next time. I heard there's a certain amount of healthy fats per day that you don't need to count, like a tablespoon or 2. Is this true? I don't go to meetings, so I don't know who to ask, so I thought I would ask you. Thanks, love your videos. Thank you for asking, Texas Angel. So what you're talking about is for Simply Filling. Simply Filling is a separate technique from freestyle. So first you want to identify which Weight Watchers program you're actually on. I think most people are doing freestyle. If you are on the Simply Filling technique, it is it's similar, but it's different. With Simply Filling, you choose from a list of foods that you do not count. It's a very specific list, and you do not count points for those foods. For things that are not on the list, you would count points out of your weeklies. So once those weeklies are gone, you're done. I can't do Simply Filling for obvious reasons probably, but my weeklies would vanish in the first day. So that is the Simply Filling technique, and with the Simply Filling technique, in addition to the list of foods that you don't need to count, you are also allowed to have 2 teaspoons of healthy fats per day that you don't count, and then of course if you have healthy fats after that, you still have to count them. So that is simply filling. So, however, do not dismiss fat with freestyle. You do have to count your fats with freestyle, but fat is your friend. That's right, I just said that. The girl that tries to avoid fat. Fat is your friend, guys. Fat is essential and we can't live without it. Our bodies are made up of fat. We need it to absorb vitamins and antioxidants. It provides insulation to help us not freeze when it's cold outside. It cushions our organs to prevent them from injury. And it's part of our hormonal makeup and part of the membranes that surround every single cell in our body. We need fat. Yeah, that's why the 0% fat diets of the, what was that, the 80s or early 90s? Number one, they're not sustainable, and number two, not the healthiest for your body. So we definitely need fat. Fat also helps food taste better and helps to satiate us or provide a feeling of fullness in addition to protein. So we do need fat, but too much fat obviously can lead to other health problems, including obesity, which is probably the main thing that a lot of us here watching this channel are trying to fight: obesity and overweight. So the answer is that we just need a good balance of healthy fats. So, and by healthy fats, I do mean unsaturated fats. So you want to choose unsaturated fats in moderation. And yes, you do need to count them as part of your daily or weekly points. So healthy unsaturated fats, I'm going to give you some examples, are avocados, peanut butter, tofu, sunflower seeds, and walnuts. They also include fatty fish like salmon, sardines, herring, and trout, and healthy unsaturated oils like corn oil, sunflower oil, canola oil, and flaxseed oil. I think olive oil is also included in that. So you do want to include some healthy fats in your diet. Just, you know, not too many, and yes, you do need to count them, so that's probably going to prevent you from adding too many. But the beauty about freestyle is that you use the 0 points foods as a foundation for your meals, and then you can add pointed things like healthy fats. So instead of just having a plain chicken breast, add a slice of cheese and some slices of healthy fat avocado. Yum! In a salad, instead of just having the greens and maybe some fruit, add some walnuts and some dressing made with some healthy oils like canola oil or flaxseed oil. So that's what's great about freestyle, is that you can have what you need to have, what's healthy for your body, and then also add in some tasty things that you want to have. So I love freestyle. I hope that answered your question. So really, the first step is to decide, are you doing freestyle or are you doing simply filling? Thanks for the question. The last question today comes from Yolonda Smith. Hi, Yolanda. Let's see. Question for what would Julie do next? I know you go out to eat in the evenings a lot, but do you meal plan? I had started and it's been very helpful throughout the week. I've also been preparing snacks and veggies, etc. ahead of time. Oh my gosh. Do I meal plan, Yolanda? I probably insanely overdo it with the meal planning. I'm a little bit anal with that. But yes, I meal plan every week, and my best meal plan has every meal, every snack laid out for an entire week. Do I always stick with it? No. For the week, I do for the most part, and then during the weekend, of course, things get tricky. So, but I always have a meal plan, and I feel so much more secure with a meal plan, and my weeks go a lot smoother with a meal plan, as you're probably finding out. So if you're new to meal planning, you guys, it can be a daunting challenge. So what I did was I started meal planning just for my work meals. So that was for Monday through Friday. I started with planning just my breakfast, lunch, and snacks. And also, let me tell you, here's my dream meal planning schedule. Thursdays, I create the entire meal plan, and this is easier said than done because it can take a couple hours if I don't know specifically what I'm going to have, or if I need to research recipes or restaurants, or if I need to dig through the cupboards and freezers to find out what we have. So again, this is my dream meal planning schedule. So Thursdays, I meal plan, get it all done. Fridays, I make my grocery lists, and I make them according to the stores that I need to get the items at. Saturday, I actually go out and get the groceries. Usually I just go to 3 different stores. And then Sunday would be the days that I actually do the meal prep, which would be prepping all of my food for breakfast, lunch, and snack for the week. So this is the schedule I try to adhere to. Weekends are crazy though, so it makes it really hard. And what I'm trying to do is adjust to doing the grocery shopping on part of it on Thursday night and part of it on Friday night, and then having Saturday and Sunday, Saturday or Sunday, or you know, whenever I can, to do some meal planning. This is my goal. Anyway, back to the meal planning itself. So I started doing meal planning for just my breakfast, lunch, and snacks for work. Once I got that down, and at that time Eddie was making a lot of our dinners anyway, so I would plan pretty low points breakfast, lunch, and snacks so that I would be open with a fair amount of points to whatever he was going to make for dinner, and then I could, you know, improvise by adding some vegetables or not having a carb or whatever. So that's how I started out. Then I started sorry, I got lost on my notes. Then I started meal planning my dinners because Eddie was getting kind of burned out on making dinner every night. Who can blame him? So then I started planning my own dinners so that I could stay within my points range. And it's so hard because I get home fairly late and then I have to shower, and I end up eating at like 9:30 at night, sometimes 10. So it's definitely been a challenge, but if I didn't at least have the meal plan in place, then I'd be totally lost. So it's been a tremendous help to meal plan my dinners as well. So then the last step, I would say, if you're just starting out meal planning, once you get the breakfast, lunch, and snack done and down for work, and you're used to that on a regular basis, then add in your dinners. Try to plan your dinners in addition to breakfast, lunch, and snack. And then the last trickiest thing is always the weekends. I'm sure it's the same for you guys, but half the time our weekends are up in the air, so I don't know what we're doing, and then the other half we're just so busy, crazy busy, go go go, that it's really difficult to pre-plan. So I would say save the meal planning for the weekends for when you've gotten the rest of meal planning down. So here's how I start meal planning for my weekends. Number one, I start with what's going on for the weekend. I think for the most part, by at least Friday, most of us should know what our plans are for the weekend. That's what I aim for. So what are your commitments? What are your plans? Where are you going to be? What are you going to be doing? Are you going to amusement parks? Are you babysitting for a friend? Do you have to work the weekend? Are you doing errands all weekend? Will you be at the mall? So first of all, start with what's going on for the weekend and where you will be, what you will be doing. Then identify the times that you'll need to eat during the day while you're doing all these activities and where you will be at the time. So I think a lot of us can predict normally when we're going to be hungry. So I'm gonna need to eat breakfast at this time, maybe lunch at this time, dinner at this time. So try to identify the times that you're going to need to eat throughout the day, and then where you're gonna be at that time. Are you grocery shopping and running around, so you're gonna need to grab something? Are you at the mall and you have to face mall food? Are you guys going to a movie Saturday night, so you need to look at theater food? So decide where you're going to be at that time, and then does it make sense to bring food with you, or will you need to buy food on the run? That's very important, and really only you can decide that. For me, it varies weekend to weekend, and actually, like, for a lot of, I prefer when I eat out to eat dinners out. I just prefer to have my dinners in a restaurant. If I'm going to eat out, I would rather have a nice relaxing dinner with a couple relaxing glasses of wine and take my time and enjoy the experience and be waited on than to run and eat fast food. So if I need to eat during the day and I'm running around, I would rather just bring something with me. Some grilled chicken, a turkey wrap, hard-boiled eggs, fruits, vegetables. I would rather bring stuff with me than to stop and eat fast food. If I know I need to eat and it's gonna be evening and we're out and about, then I will plan for us to go out to eat that night, and we'll choose a restaurant and go from there. So identify what time you're going to need to eat, where you will be. Does it make more sense to bring food with you, or does it make more sense to stop and get something somewhere? And then once you've made those decisions, then you need to narrow down where you might be stopping to eat. I usually narrow it down to at least 2 places. I will ask Eddie, would you rather go to blah 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 or blah blah blah? If he can't decide, then I will make my decisions. I will have choices at both restaurants. So try to narrow it down where you might be stopping to eat to at least 2 places so that you have options. Then once you have those 2 places chosen, then check the menus online and narrow it down to 2 options that sound good and are within your points range. So yes, this sounds like a lot of work, but if you want to be successful and you want your weekends to be successful, at least make the plan. Try to stick to it. This is how it's gonna happen for you guys. Weekends are a problem for everyone. These are my weekend steps to meal planning. I'm gonna go over them one more time, so hopefully this helps you guys. Number 1, start with what's going on for the weekend. What are your plans and your commitments? Where are you gonna be? What are you gonna be doing? Number 2, identify the times you're gonna need to eat during the day and where you will be at that time. Decide if it makes more sense to bring food with you or if it makes sense to stop and eat somewhere. Number 3, narrow down where you might stop to eat to at least, to only 2 choices. Narrow it down to 2 choices. And number 4, check the menus online and then narrow that down to 2 options on the menu that sound good to you and that are within your points range. So, do I meal plan? Oh, heck yes, I meal plan. Anyway, that's gonna do it for me today, guys. Thank you so much for the awesome questions. Like I said, you guys are really getting me thinking as well. I need self-compassion, I need to meal plan, and yeah, I probably should include more healthy fats in my diet too. So thanks for the questions. If you guys have any questions for me and the next WWWWJD segment, post them down below. When the questions die out, so does the series. But thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.